Start recording. Okay. So we're going to look at some pretty simple stuff today. Nothing complicated. If it's complicated, you're doing it wrong. I'm going to reiterate this. We are only looking at simple stuff today. This is not the rendering and lighting class that is taught by Marty Fitzgerald. That is a whole other class that goes into depth about what all of this means. We are skimming the surface to get a reasonably pretty black and white photo of our scene. That's all we're doing. Does that make sense to you all? So if it's hard, you're doing it wrong. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put down my cube, just like we did earlier, and then I'm just going to delete 3 sides. That's done. I'm going to grab my face, and I'm just going to flip these around. So we're going to go under surface and not surface, mesh display and reverse, and we're right back to where we were for the last project. So this is probably going to go around the whole outside of your project if you want it to, just to give you something in the background. Next, for this particular thing, I'm just going to go through and Control-D, R, make another little one, W. Alright, so I've got this thing here, it just doesn't have a face there. Yes? That's all I've done. Nothing complicated. Alright, so I have mini blinds and I have a dentist chair light. Everybody sees that? Everybody understands what I'm talking about? Yes? Okay, so one of the easy things that we can do to get started, this is not our final thing, we just go to lights and I'm just going to put in a sky dome light just to get started. And I'm going to change my renderer to Arnold. I'm going to hit play. Like I said, if it's hard, you're doing it wrong. Okay, this is just my basics so that I can do stuff. Now you'll notice that it's rendering really, really slow. Yes. I'm just going to say stop for right now. I'm going to grab this first right here. I need to open my materials shader. So this is a new button for us. Kind of. We've used this once or twice. Come through here And I'm going to grab my Arnold texture, and just like we've been doing, I'm looking for that Arnold generic surface, Arnold standard. So I'm just going to come in and type in standard. Where is it? Arnold standard surface right there. And we're good to go. And I'm going to name this one glass. And I'm going to apply that material to selection. I'm going to close this and come over here. And in my attributes editor under glass, I have something called presets. In presets, I'm going to go to glass. Replace all selected. And now I have glass. I'm going to hit render again. I'm going to stop the render and unselect what I have selected so that we can see what I'm looking at. And now I have glass. Like I said, if this is hard, you're doing it wrong. Keep that in mind, okay? Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so I'm going to stop this for just a second. I'm going to zoom in here for just a second. Now, there's a lot of different ways to do this. You should probably try to keep your lights to a minimum, but for right now, I'm going to come into Arnold, lights, do like, say, a and I cranked up some light. Yes? Just like we did earlier, I can change the light color if we want to see what I'm actually doing. So there's what my light is actually doing. I would change that, but if I wanted the dentist light to light up. Now, also I can go back to the glass. And remember we did glass, but there were other presets in glass. So we can like make it less transparent kind of thing. Okay. Now, the mini blinds in the back are going to be a little bit different. For the mini blinds, wow, that air conditioner is kicking right on my head today. I really dislike that.
Where did the umbrella go? Where did the umbrella go?
The umbrella blocked the air conditioning from blowing down into my throat.
Where did it go?
I don't know. Somebody took it. I miss it. I should buy another one and bring it in. I used to have a nice picnic table umbrella. This one is going to be the mini blinds. blinds. Now, the last time we used a preset, and there is a preset for plastic, but there's a lot of garbage and overhead in that. So instead of doing that, I'm going to look down at some of these. Subsurface makes a waxy type thing, which is okay, but not great for what we want to do. We're going to look at the translucence, and I'm just going to raise this weight for right now to right about there, and let's render that. Now it doesn't look like anything's happening, because what translucence does is it lets light shine through. So we're going to stop this again, come back over here, and I'm going to add in another light. Not that way, I'm going to add in another light. Okay, so that's obviously too much. So what we should start to see is that light coming through these blinds. Can you just barely see that light coming through there? So let's grab those blinds and raise that translucence. You see more light starting to come through now? I'm just going to kick it all the way over for example purposes. So now we can see it almost clear through it, which is way more than what I want. So. Oh, I just meant the blinds green. Duh. It's not what I wanted to do. No, I want them to be like a nice gray. Nice light gray. There. So you can see the light coming through now. Okay, so we have this bright green light. We have this glass. Let's add another shade. Okay, now what I want to do is put that shiny, darker plastic stuff on it. So now I'm going to come through and I'm going to make another surface. Plastic, let's just go replace. Because it's blue. It's color. So we're getting a lot of noise right now. And the noise is caused by two different things. Remember the world light I said causes all that noise before? And now these blinds are going to cause noise also. So I'm using this renderer right now. I'm going to stop that for just a second. And I'm going to go into the settings. My Arnold renderer settings. This is a really good way to make your project miserable and long and horrible. The more of these things you mess with, the longer this process takes exponentially. So I am literally, my render settings, I could change my light rendering and all this other stuff. I'm just going to come through here and I'm going to change my diffuse to 4, my specular to 4, my transmission to 4. That should do it. Arnold, render. This should cut down on the noise some, but it should also make everything go much, 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 much slower. As you can see, it looks like nothing is happening. You ever watch paint dry?
I have.
It's more exciting than this. And I'm only doing it at 960 by 540. You all need to be doing it at like 2+K. Don't start Sunday night. Don't start Sunday night. There's no real way to speed this up. This is the process.
That's when you calculate for a little bit. Do something else.
Unless you get like 30%, you realize it's not going to work. Kind of have to babysit it a little bit. Oh, look, that's not shiny enough. Start over. Specular is set to 1. Roughness controls how shiny it is. So I'm going to go back down a lot. Right. 2 or 3, whatever. Don't go crazy with it. I believe Connor did a nice job of making it work. Oh, and we're back to 0. Oh, it's so much fun.
So are we allowed to change the color or just like whites and grays and then
Whites and grays, that's it. That's all you're doing. Whites and grays. If you want to see a exact example of what I'm looking for, Connor, I don't, is it Connor Stour? Connor Pout? Stout? Is it Powers? That's a perfect example of what I'm looking for. There are 2 shades of gray, maybe 3. All that is erase in Photoshop, and then do a soft blur on the erasing. Ooh, Maya. 10%. But look, it's shinier now. This is exciting.
if you say so?
Oh, look, I like the render, but the colors are all wrong. Start over. And what happens if I delete the sky dome light? There we go. High drama action right now. I said, look at Ashley. She's sleeping in her hoodie.
I'm thinking about it, but it didn't happen.
I said it is 66 degrees in here.
Start breaking apart. Why do you keep this one so hot?
They don't like it. 68 degrees is kind of the perfect temperature. blinds aren't shut. My blinds aren't bright enough. Guess what? Start again. So that's light 2. There we go. Oh, I forgot to put a subsurface on the back walls. Start again. All right, I'm going to stop the recording because this is paint drying.